body or spirit and join us in singing the opening song, Wo-yo-ya. Wo-ya-ya. Just in case you can't see the board, the words are, we are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will get hard, we know. And the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo-ya-ya. Repeat it. All right. Shall we?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to First Universalist Church. My name is the Reverend Jen Crow. I use she, her pronouns. It is a joy to be leading worship today with Reverend Ashley and Dr. Glenn Thomas, with Amy K. Bryant and Allison Conley-Vetter. We are grateful for all the hands and hearts and spirits who make this moment together possible. We're grateful to John and Olu for making our technology and sound work. We're grateful to our ushers and greeters, to the artists, to everyone who cares for this space to make it a welcoming, beautiful place. We're grateful to each and every one of you for showing up this morning in person, for joining us online. We're glad that everyone is here because we know that beloved community is something that we can only experience and practice together. Here we inherit and create and sustain and pass on the universalist spirit of love and hope, now and for times we shall never see. And we do this together. Moving and breathing together, singing together, holding silence together, celebrating and creating together nourishes us. Welcome to this spiritual community of individual and collective transformation. Today, you probably already know this because you're here at 11. We return to 2 services at 9 and 11 with religious education classes at both services. This is a joy to have our whole community back together. And we prepare today, as we do each time we gather, by settling our bodies and minds and spirits, by arriving right here, We do this with a practice of 3 intentional breaths, an opportunity to settle ourselves, to make space for the holy, for our highest hopes, for inviting in a connection with something larger than ourselves. I invite you to do that in any way you like as we take this time of quiet together. From this place of quiet and connection, we remember who we are and what we are about. And I invite you to join in saying the words for the lighting of our chalice together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. My name is Allison Conley-Vetter. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm the interim director of Children, Youth, and Family Ministries here at First Universalist Church. What we do here is grounded and centered on love. As our newly articulated Unitarian Universalist values would say, love is at the center. It's at the center of everything we do and everything we are. And so this morning I'm going to offer us a song that I have written, a song that I've caught, that helps us ground in the many facets of love and what love invites us into and how we can collaborate with love to bring about the best version of this world that we can. The song goes like this. I'll sing a line. I'll ask you to repeat it back to me. It is mostly the same for the entire song. So we'll catch on to it and then we'll do the next couple verses. The last time we sing it through, we'll have a chance to do some reflecting together before we sing. So repeat after me. It goes like this. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. Let us live in love. Beautiful. Let's sing that whole verse together. We are beloved. Love requires nothing of us. Let's sing together. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. Let us live in love. Beautiful. We are beloved, and sometimes we are also lover. Sometimes we are called to put love into the world because love requires loving of us. So let's sing together. I am a lover, and love requires loving of me. I am a lover, and love requires loving of me. I am a lover, and love requires loving of me. Let us live in love. That's right, and sometimes we are love. We are love. When we are love, we remember that love is how we're going to get free, okay? And this song, Beloved, Lover, and Love, this image is drawn from the way that St. Augustine of Hippo, who lived in the 4th century, he was a black African bishop. This is how he understood what love is, the lover, the beloved, and the love that flows between. And all of this is what it is to be divine and holy. So let us sing, let us remember that we are love, and love is how we're going to get free. I am love, and love is how we're gonna get free. I am love, and love is how we're gonna get free. I am love, and love is how we're gonna get free. Let us live in love. That's right, and these are all true all the time. We are beloved, we are lover, and we are love. And so the last time that we sing this together, I want you to think to yourself, which of these truths do I most need to hear right now? Do I most need to hear that I'm beloved? Do I most need to hear that I'm a lover? Or do I most need to hear that I am love, I am the love that sets us free? So I want you to think to yourself, which of these do I most need? And our last time, I invite each of you to sing the words that you most need to hear. Glenn Thomas, what is that for you today?
I am love.
And how about...
And love is how we're going to get free.
That's right.
Yes.
And how about you, Amy?
I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me.
That's right. And I'm really remembering that I'm a lover, and that love requires loving of me. So let's sing together each the words we need to hear. I am a lover,
And love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. Let us live in love. Can we do it again, please? Yeah, all of it.
This is the last one again. What you need. Maybe we'll do it a couple times. Singing what you most need to hear.
I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. Let us live in love. One more time. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. Let us live in love.
Each of you. And I just want to say, what we just did together, we just practiced, right? Who knew that song like 4.5 minutes ago? Right? Like nobody. But what did we do together? We learned it, we practiced it, we did it several times. By the end, I mean, it was beautiful. Did you hear what we did together? We made this beautiful music. I just want to say that that's what we do at church, is we practice and we practice together. So as Reverend Jen has said, as many of you know, today is our first day of religious education here at First Universalist, and so many people, staff and volunteers and ministers and young people have put a lot of time and energy into getting us ready for this day and for the start of our year of programming here at church. And we are practicing religious education a little bit differently this year. Our values around our kids and youth, honoring their spark and their brilliant, passing on our Unitarian Universalist faith, those have not changed. But there are specifics to the ways that we're practicing it this year. And that mean that today is our first day of practice in some real ways. So you might notice a difference, for example, in the number of adults volunteering in the classroom with our youth, because we have over 80 of them. If you're volunteering with our kids and youth, can you stand or raise your hand if you're volunteering this year with our kids and youth? I see many of you volunteering, so many amazing human beings volunteering with our kids and youth. You might also notice a shift in our curriculum for our kindergarten through 5th grade children. This update to the curriculum were really lovingly crafted by members of our Children Youth Advisory team, another team of fabulous volunteers in collaboration with our youth leadership team and with many of our other staff and ministers. And you will likely notice a difference in how we transition from having our young people with us here in the sanctuary into where they will continue their worship experience through class and other portions of the building. All of these shifts have been made collaboratively with folks across this congregation. So because of all these differences, even with the planning, again, today is our first day of practice here, and there might be some bumps, right? Some folks might not know where to go. Things might feel disorganized. They are not, but it might feel that way. And I just want to, and people like me will inevitably have made mistakes that we only learn about in real time. I have learned about several of them already this morning. So all of which is to say, when we practice, we often start off not very good at things and get much better. So who here has ever practiced something? Anything? You've practiced, yeah, pretty much all practiced something. Who was perfect at it the first time they did it? Who got a lot better the more they did it? Yeah, I think most of us, right? So today is our first day of practice, and what I'm saying is, whether you're one of our amazing volunteers or a parent or caregiver or an adult congregant of this congregation, whether you're a kid or a youth, I invite you to gentleness and openness as we try new things. I invite you to go out of your way to thank somebody who's making today possible, including our amazing facility staff, our ministers, our volunteers, our youth. I invite you to pitch in when you notice something that fell through the cracks, to be extra welcoming if you see someone who looks a little bit lost, trusting as we always do that people around us are generally doing their best, right? That is generally true. And that's how we learn and grow together here. We practice. We are not born perfect at Beloved Community. We practice it together here. And we are so glad that you are practicing with us. In just a moment, we're going to practice our new transition for our kids and youth and volunteers from worship to their classes. So they start worship here in the sanctuary, they continue worship in their religious education classes. The shifts that we've made in this transition are to keep it prayerful, meaningful, and safe. So for example, to emphasize our connection throughout the building, the kindergarten through fifth grade class will light this lantern here from our chalice to take our flame with them wherever they go. You will also see these amazing banners up here, which were handmade by members of our visual arts team. Each week, our kindergarten through fifth grade classes will share a visual representation on one of these squares of what they've learned this week, so that as we go throughout the year, each Sunday we'll see visually what they're learning and bring that back into our sanctuary. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Glenn Thomas to invite our kids and youth into our transition this morning.
I get to call the cast. Take a look at the chalice cup with the flame. Think of the flame that we kindled with our own breath and our words together. When we made community, that flame came into existence. It goes with us wherever we go. As long as we remember it, as long as we keep it in our hearts, we can hold this together and be connected to the love of community always. So now our worship continues in different ways. For some of us in different places, wherever we are, may the bond of love that we've made in this symbol stay with us no matter where we go. Now, I'll invite the bearer of the flame, the lantern bearer, and the flag bearers to come forward. Those bearers of the flag, I'm trying to have an official voice. It's so official when you add vibrato to it. Yes. Yes. Okay, now, who's our... Yes, fantastic. Welcome. Yeah, you got it. May this flame, our guide and our bond, our symbol and our hope, go with you wherever you go. And flag bearers. Okay, there are 3 flags. On the top of them, you'll see K1 on one. That's for kindergartners and first graders. Second graders and third graders are right here in this aisle. Fourth graders and fifth graders are going up the aisle to my right, your left. And now I invite you to find your flag. K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look at that. And now, the moment the 6th, 7th, and 9th graders have all been waiting for. Your group is ready as well. I invite you to meet your leader in the back of the sanctuary. There's a sign holding the grade level on it. It looks like that has already been done. Right on. Then the flame moves with us, remember. May it bring us to the clearer path. May the path to greater love stay clearer still by the light of our togetherness. My last duty is to invite you to sing, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay, all right. 2 options to this one, right? This little light of, try with me. Boom, boom. I'm gonna let it shine. Good. No, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Great, great. Here's the other option. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. All right. Pick the one that makes your spirit soar. And away we go. One more time. 1, 2, 3, say. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it
Good morning, beloveds. My name is Ashley, and I'm one of your ministers, and it's been about 2 years since I first read the reading that I'm going to read. That was the first thing I ever said from this here pulpit. It's good to still be here, y'all. I was listening to Allison and thinking about how we practice beloved community. And it's not something that we are new at. It's something we've inherited across generations from our ancestors. As Adrienne Marie Brown says, my heartbeat is 1,000 ancestors clapping the rhythm for me, singing, don't waste it, don't hoard it, don't wait, be here now, don't rush. It's a dance, it's your life. There is enough. So I invite you now to settle in a little bit more deeply into this space, to find somewhere on your body where you can actually feel your heartbeat, where you can feel the presence of the thousands of ancestors who are clapping for you. And if that's too abstract, just imagine one of them. Imagine their joy at your being, your mere existence. Imagine all of our ancestors in this room going back and back and back, being perhaps delighted and perhaps terrified to be in the same room together. We are multitudes here. And still, they clap and sing, "Don't waste it. Don't hoard it. Don't wait. Be here now. Don't rush. It's a dance. It's your life. There's enough." Let us know their presence as palpably as our own beating hearts. As we come together now with them and with each other to pray, to hold each other in love and care, to expand the joy that happens when we share what is going joyfully, and to lighten the load that is only possible when we share what is painful, when we remember that shame dies in well-supported support. The circle is open now for us to hold it together. As we speak our prayers aloud or write them in the chat, we will respond to each other. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Let us pray. We are holding Laurel Brown in healing and love as she recovers from a fall earlier this week and from 3 fractures, all while in the midst of grief. You are not alone. We are holding it together. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For your new great-grandson, Charlie, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For Aaron, who was just diagnosed with breast cancer. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For Barb Mercy Online, who has COVID, and for all who have COVID right now, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For Maggie, From Julie and Donna, we are with you as always. May your treatments at Mayo go smoothly and be effective. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For boundaries and discernment and wisdom. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Oh. You are not alone. We are holding it together. And for those who didn't hear, for Mom who passed away on Friday. Joyce Birdie asks for prayers as she anticipates knee replacement surgery this Thursday and the long recovery. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For all those with pediatric cancer, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For the meditations that rest on our hearts, we also pray. You are not alone. We are holding it together. I couldn't agree more, Jenny. For your brother, for Parkinson's, you are not alone. We are holding it together. Let us sing our prayers now. Not only do we practice beloved community in prayer, we practice it in how we live, in how we give, in how we receive, and how we remember that our resources that are not ours alone, they belong to our collective well-being. Now is the time when we receive our morning offering, and this morning we gather funds to support the Minister's Emergency Fund, which is not really the minister's, nor is it just for emergencies, but it is for our collective care. Too often we get emails and calls and people who stop us in the halls to say they have to choose between medication or groceries, rent, or the next utility bill. Or we hear from folks whose lives depend on things like gender-affirming care that is not covered by insurance, and yet we believe in boldly supporting their lives and well-being. So we share our resources to make each other's lives flourish. So I invite you now to give boldly if that is your call this morning, and if it is the often harder call to receive with willingness and generosity, please speak to me or Jen after the service or send us an email, and we will make the dots connect between you and our collective resources. Let us receive our morning offering now.
Our reading this morning comes from Manish Mishra Marzetti, and it is titled Desert Flowers. Improbably, the wind-blown seed found its way here, to a long, beautiful stretch of land, but one that was hot, dry, and arid. A spark of life resting in an unprepared desert. Quenching, life-giving sustenance, the rain comes and goes, even if infrequently, sometimes only a few drops at a time, and the seed begins to take root, possibility brought alive. But what life is this amidst the harshness? Pocket mice, rattlesnakes, camel spiders? Danger and inhospitality lurking everywhere. One chance encounter gone wrong could bring death to the seedling. And yet somehow the intrinsic invitation to thrive, to flourish and grow, finds a way, even when it's a struggle. Poking gently up from the cracked, parched desert earth, a beautiful pink 5-petaled phacelia blooms spectacularly, improbably. We are those wind-blown seeds. The universe is longing for life, for thriving, for beauty, even when it is against the odds. I'm going to read this poem for us again. this time with a little more context for us. Manish Mishra Marzetti is a Unitarian Universalist minister, in fact, the senior minister of our congregation in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He names himself as an Asian American man with a white husband and black children, and this poem was written and is part of a book titled Seeds of a New Way. Seeds of a New Way, Nurturing Authentic and Diverse Religious Leadership. Listen for what the seeds might be with this context. Improbably, the wind-blown seed found its way here to a long, beautiful stretch of land, but one that was hot, dry, and arid. A spark of life resting in an unprepared desert, quenching, life-giving sustenance. The rain comes and goes, even if infrequently, sometimes only a few drops at a time, and the seed begins to take root, possibility brought alive. But what life is this amidst the harshness? Pocket mice, rattlesnakes, camel spiders, danger and inhospitality lurking everywhere. One chance encounter gone wrong could bring death to the seedling. And yet somehow, the intrinsic invitation to thrive, to flourish and grow finds a way even when it is a struggle. Poking gently up from the cracked, parched desert earth, a beautiful pink 5-petaled phacelia blooms spectacularly, improbably. We are those wind-blown seeds, the universe's longing for life, for thriving, for beauty, even when it is against the odds. Last week, when we gathered here, we heard the story again of Higgins, that drop with a dream. A raindrop who was looking around and seeing that parched land, those flowers that were beginning to droop. Higgins, this raindrop with a dream, believed that maybe he could inspire others to jump into the rusty bucket with him, and that together, when they had gathered enough, they might tip over and form a mighty stream that would bring that much needed water to that parched land so that the flowers and the plants there could thrive once again. This week, we are imagining ourselves differently. This week, we imagine ourselves as those wind-blown seeds, the universe's longing for life rooted deep in each of us with an intrinsic invitation to grow, to thrive, to flourish, even when it is against the odds. Maybe we're imagining ourselves as those wind-blown seeds with our particular pocket mice and rattlesnakes and camel spiders in our lives. Maybe we're imagining what it is that is the life-giving rain for us, intermittent, maybe, that somehow supports this improbable beauty sprouting from each of our lives, even in a sometimes harsh climate. Maybe we're taking time to imagine those wind-blown seeds' lives different than our own, with the particular pocket mice and rattlesnakes and camel spiders, that those we don't know, that those who maybe have different identities, different life experiences, different pocket mice and camel spiders and rattlesnakes than us, different life-quenching water than us. Maybe we're taking a moment to imagine each of us carrying that intrinsic invitation to flourish and grow and thrive. Listening to this poem, it draws me to another poem, maybe you too, to Khalil Gibran's poem on children, where all children are named as part of life's longing for itself. Each and every child, part of life's longing for itself. Each of us. This past summer, I spent some time with a particular book. It's called All In, Cancer, Near Death, and New Life. It's written by Caitlin Breedlove, who prior to this, I think was known to most of us, known to me as an author and activist, someone who always offered a brilliant analysis of what is going on in the world and what we might do to change it for the better for all of us. But in this book, part of what she is doing is chronicling her own experience, a memoir of her experience living with what many expected, including herself, possibly to be a terminal diagnosis with cancer. She's going through this herself, the process of intense physical pain, of coming face to face with mortality at a relatively young age, of treatments that are killing her while healing her at the same time. There she is in this parched and painful desert, reflecting on her own experience while also reflecting on the parched desert experience we are having in our larger society, in our world right now. She personally, us, all of us, teetering perhaps on a really important precipice. And she does this reflecting back and forth. In these consequential days, she tells us, fear cannot be an excuse. The harbinger of death is no excuse, she says. These will come no matter what we do or try. Fear, the realization of our own mortality, of the world as we know its mortality. These are things we will and do experience. In the midst of this, though, she says, we can make the social and political world anew, and we can make it in the image of what will never be new, the earth herself, the wild itself, the oldest and most beautiful design, she says. This design, I add, that has within each of us this intrinsic invitation to flourish, to grow, to thrive. She says if we are going to move in these new ways to make the social and political world anew in the image of the earth's beautiful design, she says it will mean a radical reimagining and a surrendering to our vision of what we dare to hope for, how we understand collaboration, how we re-understand power, even how we understand ourselves as individuals, and what it means to be one, and what it means to be many. Realigning ourselves and our vision with the life of the earth's design, it means understanding, though, she tells us, that we can't only be about destruction. We can't only be about tearing things down and pointing out the mistakes. We can't only be about the downfall of our enemies. We must be about the rise of creators. the rise of creators, collaborators, conjurers, and conveners, the rise of nurturers, generators, builders, and counselors, she says, surrendering to a vision of worth, a vision that is worthy of our loyalty and dedication. I would call that a vision of love and hope. Our Universalist ancestors chose a vision of love and hope, and we choose it still. Way back when they began, it was a political and religious climate that named some as worthy and some as not, that held some inside the circle of love and others pushed outside regardless of what they ever did in the world. They were operating in a time when there was not an intrinsic invitation to all to grow and flourish and thrive. And they said that this climate of fear and division would never be worthy of our dedication and loyalty. We needed to turn to a radical vision of love that brought everyone inside the circle, that named each and every person as whole and holy and worthy, welcome and wanted inherently. We were born that way. You didn't have to earn it. It was an intrinsic gift. Our religious ancestors went on to claim that not only was this experience of love, of belovedness, this opportunity for all to grow and flourish and thrive, it wasn't just something for the hereafter in some cosmic afterlife. They got bolder as they went, and they started to claim that this was something we could create right here on earth, right now. They started to speak of beloved community as a practice and a possibility here and now. This term, beloved community, can be traced back to the white philosopher and theologian Josiah Royce and his writing at the beginning of the 1900s, when he said this. He said that beloved community is a spiritual or divine community capable of achieving the highest good as well as the common good. Preachers and activists took this concept and worked and reworked it and made it more explicit. Black theologians and preachers and activists like Howard Thurman and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. imagined multiracial communities in the midst of a racially segregated nation. They named beloved community as a place free of hate and poverty and oppression, a place, an experience where all can thrive, an experience and a practice where everyone is known and valued for exactly who they are, a practice and an experience where everyone has what they need, a community grounded in a love so profound that in its practice and experience, it results in individual and collective transformation. This is the vision. And we talk a lot here about beloved community. In fact, it comes up in the very first sentence of our visionary goals, the direction that this congregation cast for itself for the next 5 years. The very first sentence of our visionary goals says this: the people of First Universalist practice beloved community among and beyond us. The people of First Universalist practice beloved community among and beyond us. And then you all go on to list 5 very particular ways we are going to do that. But today, I just want to stick with that first sentence: practicing beloved community within and among us. Practice. We heard Allison talk today about practicing the new ways that are happening in religious education today, about how sometimes practice is a messy thing, how we don't get it right away, how that's part of the process. And I want to say that practice is never about perfection. You've probably heard that phrase, practice makes perfect. You heard that? Just saying, I disagree. Not only are we never going to get to perfect, but perfect is not the goal. Perfect is not the place for us to aim toward. Practice is. Practice, that thing that calls out of us an ability to risk, to be vulnerable, maybe to look or feel foolish, to be uncomfortable, to try again and again. Maybe to make that new way of being somewhat more comfortable, something we're more at ease with, something more instinctive for us. but we will always make mistakes. And if we are aiming for perfect, we are going to be disappointed in ourselves and each other over and over again. We are about practicing beloved community. Practicing beloved community, Dr. King told us, is going to require a qualitative change in our souls and a quantitative change in our actions. We're going to need to change in our hearts and also in our actions. This is what it takes to experience, to practice, to create beloved community. Now, I have been thinking a lot about what it means to practice beloved community lately. I've been thinking about how it is that we practice beloved community when a neighbor walks into our building and yells racist, hateful things that carry with them the weight of generations of violence and harm. I've been thinking about how we practice beloved community in this time and place with very limited healthcare resources, when we are just beginning to learn new ways of caring for each other in community, in a world and a moment where mental illness still carries such a huge stigma. I'm thinking about how we practice beloved community when these moments of identified crisis have passed, but all the same systems and practices and procedures that created that moment of crisis are still in place. I'm thinking about how we practice beloved community when our neighbors, when strangers, when family members and friends make choices with their words, with their actions, maybe even with their votes, that communicate to us that we are not in their circle of love and concern and care. I'm thinking about how we practice beloved community when anyone who has lived in this country for a generation or more, whether we want it or not, we have been indoctrinated with racialized hate, with anti-Semitism and ableism, with harmful beliefs about gender norms and expression, with ageism and homophobia and toxic individualism, even if we have been pushing back against it our whole lives. I'm thinking about the lies that we have been told about what safety looks like and feels like and who deserves it. I'm thinking about the lies we've been told about how much comfort we should expect and deserve. I'm thinking about how we've been taught that there is never enough for all of us to have what we need. And it's in this context, in this very real world, that I am thinking about what it means to practice beloved community together. Here we are in this very real life, in this very real world. It's going to take a whole lot of practice to get to that experience of beloved community together. And it's going to take us being in it together. Bell Hooks taught us that no one is healed in isolation. Cole Arthur Riley, writing for her book Black Liturgies, says it like this: self-care alone won't save you. Community is a necessary risk. Self-care alone won't save you. Community is a necessary risk. Both of these Black writers know that alone, no matter how strong you are, your own strength and intention and effort won't and can't save you. Community is a necessary risk. For folks who live in marginalized identities, you learn this quickly, that you must find and keep community. And it turns out that it is true for all of us. All of us. We are born interconnected. We are here interconnected. We do not thrive and flourish and grow in isolation. Interconnection is how we live. This congregation is one place where we promise to practice beloved community within and beyond these walls. Beloved community where each and every person can thrive and grow and flourish, a community free of racism and poverty and hatred and oppression, a community grounded in a radical love so powerful that it can transform us individually and collectively, a love so big As Professor Mark Hicks says it, a love so big that it will not let us go, let us down, or let us off the hook. Just this last week, my dear friend, the Reverend Nancy McDonald Ladd, spoke at the convocation ceremony at Meadville Lombard Theological School. It's a Unitarian Universalist seminary where Dr. Glenn Thomas teaches worship, where I'm a member of the board. And at the convocation ceremony, Nancy said this: "For those of us committed to addressing the existential alienation and atomization of these times, the building of community can do both. Community can be a place where everyone has the agency to create. A place where everyone has the space to encounter meaning in the most intimate and enduring ways. A place where no single person, including and especially the leader, is the creator alone, but all are created by the act of choosing one another over and over and over again. A place where all are created by the act of choosing one another over and over and over again." She goes on to say, "The congregation and the community itself is not a delivery mechanism for goods or services. It's a collective artwork that only happens if the people together have the agency to create, the spiritual grounding to sustain it, and the humility to be transformed by one another in so doing." She is telling us it's time to be creators, time to be conveners and conjurers, builders and generators and nurturers. It is time for us to imagine, to practice together what beloved community can look like right here and right now. We need all of us for this journey. For this commitment, we have pledged our loyalty and dedication to a vision of love and hope so powerful it can transform us individually and our world collectively. This is the kind of love I am interested in being a part of. I hear Allison's words ringing through my mind and heart and spirit. I'm hoping they're going to stay with me all week. I am beloved, and love requires nothing of me. I am a lover, and love requires loving of me. I am love, and love is how we're going to get free. May we be all three of these and more, practicing beloved community together. May it be so. Amen.
I invite you to rise. Let's sing one more time.
If you are new to this community, we are so glad you're here. We'll be hosting a place to start, an informal conversation for folks who are new to this congregation. Just join us right up here after the service. Kirk is going to be your leader. Come on up afterwards. Also, if you have kids in religious education today, the classes will end on the half hour. On the half hour, you have time. You have time to yourselves. You have time for coffee and conversation in the social hall. You have time to hide out and find some quiet. Please find out where you pick up your kids in the RE wing by looking at the signs posted in the atrium in the stairway or talking to Allison at the front desk. May we practice the building of beloved community. May we experience, if only for a moment, that transformative love that reminds us of our intrinsic invitation to grow and thrive and flourish. May this sometimes desert of parched land, may we feel the rain on us and improbable beauty arising. May it be so. Amen.
Prefrontal cortex